Y ahora, después de hablar con Rak Nair, el vicepresidente de Desarrollo Global de Ford, hablamos con Tom Barnes, el responsable del proyecto general del desarrollo del Ford Mustang 2015, un proyecto que ha llevado 4 años de trabajo y ahora aquí está el resultado.
Well, Tom, now that we know all the details, general details about the Mustang, let's talk to specifics because you have a very important role in the team that developed this new Mustang, right?
Well, I have a very fun role in developing the new Mustang. I got to drive the car a lot and kind of make sure that the Mustang personality shines through. Everything from how it sounds when you start it to when you turn the steering wheel, how the car reacts, and then just how it brakes and goes, kind of making sure the car has the Mustang personality and that it makes a person feel like, hey, one person designed this car.
Yeah, so. But it's not one person, it's a huge team, and that's the interesting thing. I mean, the fascinating thing to me, how come these huge teams of very talented people work together and like create this thing which is perfect. I mean, you press one button and it does what it's supposed to do. You accelerate and like it goes fast and all those kind of things. That's fascinating thing, right?
It is. It's fascinating, and literally hundreds of people have worked on this car, from planning it to designing it to engineering it, and then to building it. So keeping that integrated effort and keeping actually the eye on the ball to say this is the target, this is what this car needs to be. It does help people all work toward the same thing, but you got to make sure that what the designers want, and the car has to be stunning, and I think it is. But what they want, we have to make sure it's actually feasible, and we can stamp the sheet metal and that the engine fits under the hood and all that. So making sure that all works, and then making sure all the features come together in an integrated way. It's quite an effort of integration of a very large team.
Yeah. In terms of the design, you are in the engineering part, but you work very closely with the designers because maybe they can want to make one curve a little bit pronunciated and all that, and maybe not because it won't fit or something.
Exactly, and in fact the hood, they wanted to push the hood down, and so did we, and what happened was on the V6 engine, the intake manifold popped right through the hood, so we had to redesign the intake manifold. Wow. That's just one thing. They wanted to widen the rear end of the car, which they did, but we had to redesign some work that we had already had in place, but again, it has to be stunning, and that's one thing on the outside, stunning, and then when you get inside, we want to make you just feel good and kind of reinforce this is high end. This is a quality car, and these are great materials. And then the ergonomics, that's something we're always battling with designers too. And I say battling, they're for ergonomics too, but we got to make sure the sight lines are good and that your reach zones are good. All that. So it's a team effort, and the one thing we all have in common, we want to make this a great car, and so that's how we just keep working together, and you're going to get to drive it here in a few minutes, and I think you're going to really love it.
Absolutely. Another thing that I think must be very challenging is like all the new technology that goes into the car in terms of communications, entertainment, rear view cameras, safety features, and all that.
It's amazing, and you hit on a ton of them, but when you walk up to the car, the Mustang now, you don't have a key. You just open the door, it unlocks, you push a button. There's a rear view camera standard. All 4 tires have individual tire pressure monitoring. The connectivity on the car is unbelievable. I mean, and you talk about radios. We have a 12-speaker radio with a huge subwoofer, and I mean that has HD radio as well as satellite. So there's a ton of there's just a ton of technology running through. There are sensors in the front for safety. We have 8 airbags, double what we've ever had before. Adaptive cruise control, getting these things to all work together and to make sure that, it's easy for the customer or the driver to use, that's also a big trick. So you got to make sure the interface, and we used a lot of buttons, and you'll see toggles in there which will help you, but there are things also just embedded in screens, but we want to make sure the customer understands how to use it and that it works for them.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that with all these new features in cars, people can find it a little bit difficult at the beginning. There's a learning curve to be gone through, right?
There definitely is a learning curve, but and that's what we try to make it as simple and intuitive as possible. And just so you're like, what's that? And then when you push something, it's got to bring something up to make sure, okay, now I'm there. Oh, I'll do this. And it kind of helps guide you right through the process.
Wow.
And then becomes intuitive to you over time.
Excellent. Well, we're going to try all that, and thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on the project.
Thank you very much.
Este programa fue una producción de National Latino Broadcasting.